Python is fast becoming one of the most fundamental languages to modern GIS. You see it just about everywhere. There's new tools, libraries, and concepts to learn every day, both in the Python space and within the geospatial space too. So how do you keep up or just get started? In this video, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite geospatial Python courses that'll help you get started, advance your skills, or just learn something new. As we go through the video, I'll have all the links to these different courses in the description below, but if you want to check these out as well, there's a link below in my blog that has all the links, ratings, and a brief description on each course as well, so you can get all of those in one place. The first two courses cover basic Python concepts. One is focused on the geospatial angle, and one is more generic that has some key concepts that anyone can start to learn from. The first course is called Geo-Python, and it's brought to us by the University of Helsinki. They actually have a lot of great online courses for free that are backed up with great notebooks for you to get started and use. What I like most about this course is there are clear and defined goals right on the main page, and there's also a really clear path for you to learn these basic elements of Python. As you're going to see with lots of these courses, one critical piece is having the materials and sample code that you can start to use and run with right from the beginning. This course is no different. There's great notebooks or Jupyter notebooks that you can use to actually pull from and start using right in your local environment. So the four areas I'm going to look at in each of these courses are their accessibility, how easy are they to use, their geospatial focus, or how much of the content is focused specifically on geospatial or modern GIS. I'm also going to look at the clarity of the content, how easy is it to learn and how clear are the concepts being explained, and also the completeness. This is definitely a beginner tutorial, so if you have not started or used Python before, this is a great place to start. Another course I think is pretty interesting is called Python for Everybody. It's brought to us by Coursera and the University of Michigan. So this is also a beginner course focused on generic Python skills. It's well trusted in the data community and I think is a great place to start. So with that said, I think it's really focused on basic data fundamentals, things like web scraping and other tools. So if you're interested in that, check it out, but you can pick up some of these concepts with the other courses too. Now that we have some of the basic Python courses laid out, I'm going to focus on the geospatial specific courses next. This next course comes from us from our friends at the University of Helsinki, and if you're watching this, a big thank you for all you have contributed to the geospatial community over the years. This course is called Automating GIS Processes, and I recommend it to anyone who's starting or getting a start in geospatial and wants to use Python. What I like most about this course, it's highly readable. It's going to give you a very good introduction to Python, and you should be walking away being able to complete some of the things you do in QGIS or different desktop software right in Python. This also focuses on other topics such as Python for QGIS and using raster data, but overall it's super readable and a great course that I think is an excellent starting point for geospatial Python. So the second course I'm going to recommend, well, isn't actually a course at all. It's actually jumping into the Geopandas documentation. If you are going to get into programming, you will need to learn how to use documentation, and for me, it's one of the fundamental skills that really help me advance and jump my programming skills forward. If you can really learn how to read docs and understand what they're saying, this really helps you understand what's happening under the hood, being able to quickly debug if there are problems with your code, and ultimately use the tutorials and tools written by the people that are actually building that library themselves. Geopandas documentation has excellent tutorials that help you jump right in and start using the language. It's one of the foundational libraries for geospatial work, no matter what you're doing, and these are key concepts you will need to learn moving forward. Geopandas helps you do everything from reading and writing data, performing different analyses, connecting to other database tools, and doing that all in a geospatial setting. The tutorials range from beginner to intermediate, but they're all focused and they're all going to be pieces that you can use in your geospatial Python path going forward. This third tool is actually one of my favorite advancements in geospatial Python, or frankly modern GIS, that I've seen in the last couple of years. It's called Leafmap, and I think it's going to be one of the foundational pieces for geospatial moving forward. This truly amazing library is maintained by Professor Quisheng Wu from the University of Tennessee. I liken Leafmap to a complete, and when I say complete, a really complete geospatial toolkit in Python. This means that you can do everything from raster data to using vector data. You can read data from many different sources, perform visualization, do really advanced raster analysis or vector analysis, publish maps. I mean, the possibilities are really limitless with this library. Professor Wu also does an amazing job building great resources to help you use this. If you haven't checked him out, his YouTube page is here, and I think he has so many amazing tutorials to help you get started. The documentation is really excellent as well. There's great tutorials that help you do just about anything you might want to do. Once again, these range from beginner to intermediate, but they all focus on geospatial, and they wrap in other libraries like Geopandas that you're probably already using. Next is a course from Professor Danny Arribas-Bell from the University of Liverpool. It's his Geographic Data Science course, and I think it's one of the best courses on spatial data science. It dives into some key foundational elements if you want to do more statistical analysis and use one of the best libraries out there, of which he's a contributor called Spatial, or the Python Spatial Analysis Library. This course has been taught many times, and it's from one of the best sources and one of the best minds in spatial data science. So this is a great place to go, and thankfully it's free and available to everyone to start using. This course is clear, it's concise, it has sample notebooks, and it has an addition of videos as well for you to get started. I would rank this more into the intermediate, almost some parts are into the expert territory, but it's approachable enough to get started and for you to use, especially using more statistical models for your GIS work. You could call the next course a book, an ebook, an online course, whatever you call it, it's awesome. This is the Geographic Data Science with Python book. This is also from Danny Arribas-Bell in our previous course and some other people that he's worked with on the Python Spatial Analysis Library, Sergio Ray and Levi Wolf. This is your next level up if you're looking to get into spatial data science. Dives into some more advanced concepts, really dives into the underlying statistical models that are used in these tools, but also is very explainable, readable, and ultimately approachable. I would recommend some understanding of statistical models, but it's not totally necessary as they do an amazing job explaining what's actually happening in the tutorials. As you can see here, there's more advanced topics like spatial regionalization or creating territories, spatial feature engineering, regression, and deeper dives into other topics. I definitely rank this in more of the advanced or expert category, but it is an excellent resource, and as you start to ramp up, this is one you need to check out. The next course is called An Introduction to Python Scripting for Geospatial. It was taught by Daniel Sheehan at the Pratt Spatial Analysis and Visualization Institute, or Pratt Savvy, in New York City in 2020. I think this is an excellent resource. It was built for online learning, and I think it's one of the most complete end-to-end courses I've seen on all topics around geospatial Python. So it's meant to go along with the class and lecture, but if you follow along, you can understand most of the tutorials and work your way through it. That said, it's backed up with complete notebooks and tutorials on lots of different topics. This covers everything from basic tools all the way up to more advanced things like network analysis, using geocoding, and lots more. Definitely rank this in the intermediate category, but it's an amazing course for you to advance and go into different topic areas too. The next two courses come from one of the best writers on all things geospatial Python and spatial data science, Abdi Shakur Hassan, who writes amazing articles on Medium and across the web. These two courses both live on Udemy and cover different topics around spatial data science and geospatial Python. If you're more of a visual learner and like following along with videos and tutorials, I definitely recommend checking these out. These are paid courses, so do keep that in mind, but I think they give you a very poignant and fast track to learn some of these different topics. These courses also dive into some different areas like creating web apps from Streamlit, which you can do in Python, and other tools like Shapely and Fiona for manipulating geometries. Some of the other courses haven't dived into these quite yet, but I think there are really practical applications for these tools too. These range from beginner to intermediate, so check this out and see if any of these might be right for you. As an aside, if you are looking for some different tools that focus on generic data science, this course from Udemy is actually one I use to learn a lot of data science fundamentals. It gives you a lot of base learning in Python, but also dives into machine learning, using different tools like scikit-learn, and really helps you understand how to do these models as well. Now you can use a lot of geospatial data within machine learning, and I think this is a great place to start. I also recommend checking out Stratasratch. This is a great tool that gives you practice questions for topics in data science and SQL, and I think it helps you get some practical base if you are looking for a job and wanting to practice some more technical interview questions too. The final course is brought to us via Coursera and Yonsei University, which is called Spatial Data Science and Applications. This covers a lot broader topics, everything from the base foundations of spatial data and spatial data science, using big data and relational databases, statistical analysis, and lots more. This is a really broad course, but also gives you some topics that weren't covered in some of the other courses. I think it's a really great foundational piece, helps you transition and ease in from GIS, so definitely another one to check out. So that's it. Those are my top courses for learning Geospatial Python. They range the full spectrum from everything from basic GIS concepts all the way to advanced concepts with spatial data science and machine learning. All right, thank you for taking the time to watch this. If there are other courses that you do recommend, please add them in the comments so others can find them as well. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.